Hello, this is just a short demonstration. Um, I've had a few people ask me recently about how I do my art and any tips or advice that I can give on it. Um, I had a couple others more recently ask me if I could do a demonstration. So I figured, why not do a video? Now, I don't normally explain things very well, and I'm absolutely not a teacher of any sort, so I hope you find this educational. If not, I do apologize. I've never done anything like this before. So we're gonna go with my boy Scythe here, and I'm just gonna kind of show how I do the lines. As you can see here, some of these lines here are a lot thinner than, like, say, these lines here. That's because the horns are closer to the viewer than the maw, right? And the maw is like at a bit of a tilt this way. So I don't want it to be overly bold. I want it to be lighter and I want it to be kind of tapering off into the distance to give a little bit more of a 3D feel. And you can do that with just about anything. You can do that with characters, you can do it with backgrounds. I've got this mess over here going on in the background. Don't ask me what it is. I know what it is, but I'm not going to say because this is kind of a contest piece. Um, okay, so when it comes to color, I always go below my lines. And we'll just use this horn as an example. A lot of people like to use the fill tool, which, as you can see, my lines are actually like, in some places they're too thin, and some ways they're not closed or they don't count as fully closed. So what you would do in that situation is you take the lasso tool and you just sort of line it roughly, like so. And then you fill in the line. And some people like to hit the fill button again. And then you clear that, and it's a bit messy, but it's serviceable. Just go through here, you clean it up. It doesn't have to be perfect because people aren't going to see like these tiny little pixels of color in the grand scheme of things. If I zoom all the way out, you can't even tell that that's overlapping the line, that tiny little spot right there. So you don't need perfection. You just need it to be good enough. And you go and you fill in these spaces here. And just like that, we have color. Now, what do you do when you have color, right? Just the base color can be flat, boring, uninteresting to look at. So what I like to do is I go here, right click on this, I go group, I go quick clipping group. You could just go quick group. Either works. Quick clipping group just kind of automatically gives you a mask layer, so it eliminates an extra step. Personally, I like to add a little bit of a gradient, and I determine what direction my light is coming from. My light is coming from this direction. So I want my shadows to be from back here. So I take my gradient and I go to my mask layer and I take a darker color and I just go across like that. And then I take a lighter color, and sometimes I like to change up the shade, you know, like go a green and a blue. Just kind of determine exactly how you want it. Do you want it to come from the base like that, or do you want it to come down like that? And you can see it's just changing color. So then we go, and when you're adding color to layers, hitting this little thing right here is pretty important. It passes the alpha through so that it only affects the color on this layer. So if I hide this, there's no color. Let's see. Next I do my shading. I like to take a variation of the base color, and I'll either put it in a multiply or burn to start. I actually end up using both in most cases. And I come here, I increase that. And mind you, this is cell shading, so you may not enjoy this style of shading, but this is what I do. And you just kind of come in here and you determine where the base of your shadows are going to be, like so. Right? Maybe you have something kind of like that going on. Maybe it dips down in there to create more of a shape like that. I'll go ahead and add one right there as well. Right, so that's the base of the shading. And then I like to come in here with the same color on burn, and I'll lower this down to between 50 and 30% depending on how strong I want it. Is that the right one? Oops, that wasn't the right one. So something like that. And it just kind of blends in more with the color. So then you come in with the burn and say you want it at like 50% because you want the edges of these shadows to be really, really dark. Now, if you look, that kind of gives too hard of an edge. So what I like to do is come here with a softer brush, make sure it's small enough that it won't horribly overlap. And then I just kind of fill in where I feel it needs to be darkest. Kind of like that. And as you can see, it gives it more of a 3D feel. And we aren't done. Now I come in with another layer, and I either put it to addition or color dodge depending on the strength of the light. And I'll choose a lighter shade. Keep it on this airbrush, and I'll just kind of loosely fill in. You don't want it to overwhelm the rest of the color, you could just kind of want it there, like, hey, here's light. Like that. And then just kind of fill in one more layer of it. And there you have shading and light. I hope that this tutorial was helpful. Have a great day.